Hello, everyone. This is Alex from Jar, and today with me I've got
Jamie.
Ruben! Interrupting
Jamie
people.
first.
No, Ruben.
So yeah, we got Jamie over here, and over on Skype we've got Ruben, and today we're reviewing Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag,
Pirate Edition.
the sequel to the alright game Assassin's Creed 3. So, what is Assassin's Creed? It's a
Bad.
no. You're giving people the wrong impression. Because it's not bad. In fact, it's really good. Because it's a third-person, open-world action game with stealth elements.
Adventure.
Poorly implemented stealth stealth. Fuck! Elements.
Basically, from what I understand, the birth of this game was, hey, we just did this thing in Assassin's Creed 3 with this boat stuff. This is really good. We shouldn't abandon this. Let's just make a whole game based around this boat thing. Yeah. And that's Assassin's Creed 4. It's a pirate.
With a story.
It's a pirate game before it's an Assassin's Creed game, basically.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, some people even said that they found the assassin stuff just sort of like getting in the way of the pirate stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I guess it does. Yeah. But the story, as we see for lots of AAA games, is not the best thing in the game. It's
Not at all, actually. I probably couldn't tell you what happened in that game.
It's still more followable than the previous ones, though.
It's much better than Assassin's Creed 3, just as a whole. Everything, the storytelling, the non-glitchiness, the gameplay, it's all a lot better than it was in
And the character.
Definitely, yeah. So we have a new protagonist, Edward Kenway, who is the grandfather of Connor from Assassin's Creed 3, and basically the story is him. He's a pirate, and he gets intertwined.
Privateer, actually.
He's intertwined with all these assassins and Templars, and it's
He pretty much does something that he shouldn't have, and that catches their attention.
it's like wrong place, wrong time sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's how he gets all weaved into the Assassin's Creed story.
The good thing is, though, is that he isn't just like, oh wait, I'm an assassin now because I was told to. He's actually like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna do my own shit. I want to get a lot of money.
Although they didn't even bother to explain how he is so good at all the
No.
Well, thank God. I mean, they did that in Assassin's Creed 3, and it was just like
Yeah.
4 hours of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they didn't do it.
Yeah. So the story overall, for me, it's the only Assassin's Creed I could actually describe what happens to somebody. Like, I love all the previous ones, but I couldn't tell you the specifics.
I could probably tell you what happened in Assassin's Creed 2, I think.
But yeah. But the whole reason you're going to be playing this game is for the open world sea combat and the exploration and the assassinating and all that.
Yeah, the stabbing is a big part of it.
Because basically this game it's Assassin's Creed 3 expanded and fixed. Most importantly, fixed. Because they built this lovely new engine for Assassin's Creed 3, but it was a bit rushed, that entire game. It was pretty transparent. So they've gone in, they've fixed all the menus so they're not awful. They've made things actually work.
Oh my God, the crafting.
They've left the combat pretty much the same. Maybe almost not as good as the third one.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
But they did add the pirate stuff, which is probably the best thing because you got your own boat, you can customize it, it's got its own upgrades, you collect resources to upgrade it, you search for treasure maps which have just anything a pirate
Money and
is,
plans.
you pretty much can do yourself.
And it looks awesome. Shooting
Yeah.
the boat, all the wood flying over the place. And we should probably mention that I played this on the Xbox 360 when you guys played it on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And
So I've seen...
yeah,
So
I played on 360 as well.
yeah,
So
I played it all the way through on 360, but yeah.
Is it?
still looked really good on 360 as well. So.
If you haven't bought an Xbox One and you want Assassin's Creed and you don't know if you should wait, there's not any point, really. But if you're going to buy an Xbox One anyway, then definitely get it. Get Assassin's
Or a
Creed
PS4
Xbox One.
for that matter.
Or the PS4, yeah.
It's still the same game. They didn't change anything.
No,
Of
it just
well,
looks
it
nicer.
graphically changed a few things, made it a little bit sharper.
It's
added
mainly
some-
the weather and the foliage, pretty much.
yeah. But yeah, it looks definitely it's the best looking one,
Yeah, by far.
and it's just a huge map with like so many locations and stuff to explore, loads and loads of collectibles and things. Whether that's your sort of cup of tea.
Yeah, that was definitely my cup of tea, so to speak.
That's always one of my favorite things to do is just sort of go around, get all your
Running around
civilization
getting shit.
points, and
One thing they could have had more of was side missions because they had those like 5 story-based ones, but then after that, there's nothing that follows a story. It's just you going and finding.
they do
chests
have
or something.
loads of side missions, but they're things like
Naval contracts
they're
and
like
assassin.
randomly
Yeah,
generating ones,
Yeah.
like the stealing from I don't even know what they're called. Were they English
plantations.
dudes? Yeah, plantations and things.
Yeah.
Like you go in there and you have to. The most
You
fun you
loot a
can have
warehouse.
is just exploring yourself and just going and doing all the side stuff. Because that's what I did first. I got to a point in the campaign where I could upgrade the ship, and then I just went off and just did everything else apart from the main story. Because, quite frankly, the main story it's
Actually, not that
the
long.
mission design is not very good.
Yeah, it's a lot of tailing.
Yeah,
and
they need
slowly
to-
walking behind people.
They need to get rid of those tailing missions and the ones where you got to like listen
Eavesdrop.
to people. Yeah, eavesdrop.
Those are shit.
They-
Just saying, if anyone's gonna, you have to upgrade the boat. Don't just do a thing where you play the game and you don't do anything with the boat because you have to have that upgraded, otherwise you're gonna die. That's something just they make you do it, otherwise you get screwed. But it's really fun doing it anyway. So,
So do it.
I like there are some certain things in particular that happen in the story that I thought were really cool. It actually has characters in this story. And
Yeah.
Some of them are not the best. It's still a real story as opposed to just sort of floating around with a main character that can't make his mind up about what he wants to do, and it's very simple, straightforward.
and they haven't got any of they haven't got the GTA eyeball roller in there either, which is good.
Oh yeah, but most of the campaign is fine. Like I can only think of it's just the tailing missions and the missions where you automatically fail it if you're spotted.
Yeah.
because the stealth is
stealth-
it's not the best. It's definitely improved from the third game, but it's very irritating when you have to rely on it to get secondary objectives and other things, and the controls.
I was under the impression that there was like a dedicated crouch button now, and then there isn't. So
It's in the E3 trailer. They showed Edward crouching, not in like the
Did
foliage.
they? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
yeah, he did. I remember
And then,
that. And
no, it's just
not
gone, and it really needs it. It should have some.
See, I don't think it needs a crouch button. I think it just the whole thing just needs to be completely revamped now.
Yeah.
I'm done with this engine. I'm done with this whole thing now. They've fixed it. They've done it really well, and they've done all they can do with it. They need to definitely revamp the combat system. They definitely need to revamp the stealth system.
did who made Far Cry?
I'm not sure which.
It was the same one, wasn't it?
It was Ubisoft, wasn't
These
it?
guys made
Yeah, but-
these guys made Revelations.
Well, I just mean Ubisoft. But Ubisoft made Far Cry, right?
Ubisoft made Revelations, which is one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds.
Okay, well, I was going to say is you could just make more Far Cry games because,
They are making one.
well, make more of them. Anyway, back to Assassin's Creed because Far Cry is irrelevant right now.
So the best thing though is the ship combat in terms of gameplay.
Yeah, and something that we haven't mentioned is that when you disable their ship, you've got to.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You don't have to, but you have the option to like swing aboard theirs, do specific tasks, and then you get their plunder,
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
their booty.
Plunder their booty.
It's a shame there's not a little bit more sort of a few more options.
The mirror never lies, Jim.
A few more options when you're boarding other ships, because it does boil down to the same thing a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the problems. It does get repetitive, but to be honest, I never really cared that much. I was having fun.
One of the huge things for me though, because I from the E3 demo where they were showing boarding a ship, I was sold on it instantly because of that music that was playing in the background. Because, as I said in the Forza review, music really adds to making moments memorable and things like that. But the music I found kept sort of bugging out, going all weird when I was boarding.
Yes, sometimes it just wouldn't play.
It would either repeat just the quiet bit that isn't building to anything, just
Okay,
over
I
and
never
over
had that. I just had it not playing.
or when you jump on it, it just doesn't play it, or it plays the wrong song, and it doesn't even play the main theme which they were showing in the E3 demo, which is a real shame because they've got this song that exists, and
It's really cool.
It's used in the game once, and that's in the credits, and I was really disappointed by that because if they'd used that theme all the way throughout it, it would have set some more sort of standout moments. Because thinking about it right now, how many moments in the campaign can you instantly think, yeah, that's really memorable and really cool?
None.
I can think of 2.
Glitches come to my mind when that
I
kind
can
of
think
thing
of 2
happens.
moments. It shouldn't be that
Actually,
way.
I just thought of one moment.
I can think of 2, and there should be. They need to restructure their level design so it's not around tailing people. It's around like
It needs
just
to be more
just
free.
copy Arkham City, all right? Just copy what they do. Do the detective thing, and steal the combat from that as well. Because while the combat is fine, but there's no depth to it. There's no upgrade tree to it.
It doesn't. The animations are good, but there aren't enough, to be honest. You see the same ones a lot, and the way he moves as well, sometimes it just doesn't look like he's actually slicing people. He's just sort of moving his swords and people are reacting.
It's because he's so sword based. He holds 2
Twirly.
swords, and while in
Which is
every
pretty
other
cool.
in every other Assassin's Creed game, you've had the option to have an axe or just a sword or a dagger. And while I thought it was cool at first that he was like dual swords thing only, I thought it would have been nice just to have the option to have all the others as well. But that's
or
not
they
like
could have just done an upgrade tree, which
yeah, because there's an
they
upgrade
didn't
tree. There's like a crafting system where you upgrade, your pistol holsters and all that. So you've got all this extra stuff. But then the combat, it's exactly the same from when you start the game to when you end it. And the swords and upgrades, you can get loads of different swords and different guns, but ultimately they're no different because you can still, sure, the range might be a little bit different, but the swords definitely, it's like there is no real difference. Like you could start with the starting pistol and the starting swords and never change it. You don't have to. Whereas it would just make it more engaging and deep if you could have an upgrade tree like in Arkham City where they introduce like new enemies that can only be beaten with a certain combat move and you have to get new weapons and things like that.
Which they almost tried to do, but even though it's kind of not like that, it's just you've got to press, instead of B and X, you've got to press B and A and then X.
Speaking of that, they've got like 3 or 4 different enemy types, 2 of which I find really sort of combat breaking because one of them are these huge guys with axes who like just like drop a little bomb on the floor. And you've got no way to like pick it up and throw it away or pick it up and throw it back at them. You just sort of got to run away because there's no dodge button or anything. And
another annoying thing is if you're mid sort of animation and you're, say, finishing someone off, if that bomb's under your feet, you can't break out of the animation and run away. You just got to get blown up.
If that big guy's attacking you and you go to disarm him, which you have to do, if he's midway through attacking, you get hit no matter what. So it doesn't cancel his attack and it gets...
I don't think you have to disarm them. I never really disarmed them.
You have to press A, don't you?
You have to break.
Yeah, I never disarmed them. I just did a break defense.
Yeah, the same button. Like when you do that, you get hit if he's midway through attacking.
There are those 2 guys, aren't there? The small ones that always block your attacks and the big guys that block your attacks, and they both require the same thing you just break their defense.
Yeah, but the difference is with the small guys is that you can chain into them and kill them like directly off the bat, but you can't with the big guys.
The other type that are annoying are these like commandery type people who you can't attack until they attack you.
Yeah.
So and if they get one hit in on you, they will continue to hit you unless, of course, you block them. It's just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. But yeah, it's the ship stuff that's the real thing because you have a whole upgrade tree in there. You've got different types of cannons. You've got a mortar.
It's noticeable upgrades on boats, but not noticeable for
your boat is going to be majorly different at the end than it is at the beginning, and I like that.
Yeah,
and
actually, one cool thing was the outfits because I don't remember there being anything in Assassin's Creed 3 where the outfits actually made a difference. It was just a different dye,
That's
wasn't
true,
it?
Yeah, you could only.
And whereas now you have like the Mayan. Is it actually no? I can't really be talking about that. Yeah, there's an outfit which I don't know.
There's just loads of different outfits which you can unlock in game that aren't DLC for a change, which is pretty nice.
And they do things. They actually do things to impact the game.
It's really nice if more of them, if every outfit did something, because a lot of them are just for aesthetics. It's still cool though, either way. And I did.
Well, I think I want to give it my score. I think
I did mention my. The audio, which soundtrack's really good from the main characters in it, I thought. There wasn't really any bad voice acting, really.
Sometimes the sword slashes go out of sync with the animations.
true,
But,
yeah.
you know.
There's one cutscene near the beginning as well, where the audio is just completely out of sync. But that's
I don't remember
that's
having
one
that.
cutscene. No, I was in the room when you were playing it. It's the fight in the bar
All
at the
right.
beginning. It's strange. Like Edward will punch someone or something, and there's no sound until like 2 seconds later, and it's just really
It's
strange.
more like just hearing the same line of dialogue when you're on the ship more often. Really, that's like the only sort of thing with the
As we say,
stuff.
so
And
you know, so
yeah, and you get unlockable
Shanties.
shanties, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, they are.
collecting them is kind of a pain
Yeah,
sometimes. We don't. These are just little things. It means
So-
literally
yeah.
nothing.
It sounds like we're ragging on the game for all these little things, but it's definitely it's
Ultimately, whenever I was collecting those shanties and I fucked up on one, I wasn't like, oh god damn it. It was like, oh god damn it, I'm gonna get that one next time.
I mean, yeah, it's
Not like, oh god damn it, fuck this game.
one of
I think I actually said that a couple of times.
it's the best
so.
Assassin's Creed in a while, definitely. Like it's probably
Can't trump number
it's probably
two,
my
though,
second
ever.
favorite one, but it is lacking just something special that it just doesn't have a.
It doesn't have Renaissance Italy.
Yeah, that must be it,
Um,
or Jesper Kidd, because while Brian
Yes.
Tyler, the guy who did the soundtrack, is good and everything, it's just they're not. It doesn't have many hummable, memorable songs. Like there are so many in Assassin's Creed 2 and Revelations,
Let's not talk about the Brotherhood soundtrack.
and that really adds to making the city a character or the place as a character, but you just don't have that in this game.
But for a start, yeah, there's not really a set city though, is there? There's more just here's the ocean.
Yeah, but you've still got like 3 or 4 main cities in there as well.
Havana, Kingston,
Yeah,
and another one I forgot the name.
and then of course you've got the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one who's even.
I haven't actually done it yet.
I've tried it.
Yeah, I've played it loads, and yeah, it's Assassin's Creed multiplayer.
Yeah,
That's about all you need to say about it.
it doesn't really seem any different, but it's still a fun distraction.
I really like it because I really hate military shooter multiplayers, and I don't really have much other choice, really. So I'm into this multiplayer now. So yeah, that's all good. Wasn't really much added to it, but I mean, when you've got this really beefy single player, it's cool to have this as well as the multiplayer.
Wait, what did you just say, Jim? I heard Alex said something. I thought you said my name.
What?
What? I thought someone went like Ruben or something like that.
So yeah, as I said earlier, I really like this game, but I've had enough of this like
Formula.
formula or structure of the way they do them now. Like, okay, we've had Assassin's Creed 3, you fixed all the problems with 4. Now let's completely revamp everything and go into something fresh. Because if I see a game next year that has this exact same combat mechanics and everything, I'm going to be a lot more harsh, and ultimately not enjoy it as much because it needs changing now, and they need to get some better writers and stuff, because just get it moving along a bit more, because ultimately the real world stuff in this game, as you know. Actually, you might not know because they've changed it from all the previous ones where you were following the same protagonist. Now you play a nameless dude in an organization who is making games, and there's all stuff going on in that, and it's okay. Like,
Really meta, really weird.
yeah,
There's some really basic.
there's some kind of cool
gameplay
stuff in there.
mechanics.
It's an interesting, a different way of telling a story, but ultimately, in the end, it's like when you really sum it up, it doesn't really add anything to it, because at the end, if you hadn't played this game, you're not going to know much more than the people who've finished Assassin's Creed 3. Like, it hasn't progressed the story that much, if at all, really. I think they're probably saving it for another one or whatever, because ultimately it is a prequel in terms of when you're playing in the game as a character. But yeah, they need some changes, so I'm going to give my review now. Really like the game. Seems like I've been ragging on it a bit, but it does need some changes now, and I'll be fed up if they do another one with the same formula. So I'm going to give mine a really high sort of shit. So definitely worth playing. One of the strongest launch games or end of last generation games. Yeah, definitely worth playing.
Yeah, I pretty much go the same as you, as highlight beige, because this game is really fun. once you start playing, you can't put it down for a while, and then when you finish it, it's
The only reason you put it down is either because you need to piss or you're hungry.
yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Actually, just to quickly mention, the companion app is really good for it. So if you get the game, I definitely recommend that. It's like having the Wii U controller, so that you can just permanently have a map on it, and it's really useful.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it now because I'm gonna give it pretty good. It was pretty good.
I'm going to give it pretty good. So we all gave it the
Pretty
same in the end then. Good
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, there's nothing really bad to bring
There's
any of
nothing
it down.
really bad. It all works well. It's all fine. But in the end, there are definitely some big problems that are going to need to be addressed for the next one. Otherwise, we're all going to be equally fed up with it. And that's about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because we say so, and we know so. Bye.